All right, our first step is going to be to set up our face file. So I have a Photoshop open. I'm going to open the face JPEG. And we're going to do something here to create a strange symmetry and then add a blur. In my layers panel, I'm going to duplicate the layer. I can either select the layer and choose the hamburger up there for more options to duplicate layer, or I can right click and duplicate layer. I could also select it and drag it down to new layer and it will duplicate. With my top layer selected, I'm going to flip this horizontally. So I go up to Edit, Transform, and Flip Horizontal. Now you'll see the top layer, we toggle it on and off, is just a horizontal mirror of the original layer. With this top layer selected, I'm going to get the marquee, the rectangular marquee tool to select the left half of this layer. I have my ruler on so I can see when I get to 4 is the halfway point, but you can eyeball it. And then with that selected, I will delete. You can Command X to cut on a Mac keyboard, or just hit the delete button. And so now I've got this very strange symmetry with somewhat of a line in the middle where our lighting meets. So we're going to do something about that line in the middle to kind of blend it away by adding a mask on this top layer. So with our top layer selected, which is just the half of the face, we're going to choose, we're going to go down to our layers panel and add a mask. So in the layers palette here, if you toggle down just to the right of the effects, click that and it will create a mask thumbnail next to our image thumbnail on that layer. With that mask thumbnail selected, I'm going to go to the gradient tool on the toolbar. I'm going to look up at the settings for my gradient. I want to choose the second setting of the radial gradient. I also want to make sure that my foreground color down here on the tool panel to the left is black. So if it's not, if it's white, you can toggle that arrow. We want black on top, that's our foreground color. And then up in the gradient selection details, we're going to choose the arrow to select the foreground to transparent setting. You might have to toggle open the basics folder to get that. What we're trying to do is mask out wherever there is black. It will cover up or conceal the top layer and reveal the below layer. And then as that gradient gradually changes from black to transparent, it will create a gradual change, and so it will reveal our top layer gradually. So with those settings, I have my gradient, and I'm going to start at kind of around the nose and pull out that gradient. This only works if you have your mask thumbnail selected in the layers panel. If I didn't have it selected, I'll show you. It would just create a new layer with a gradient, right? So if you make that mistake, which is easy to do, you simply delete your layer that you made, the new layer you made, and the gradient that you made, and you can go back and select that mask so that you're working on the mask. What I want to do here is just create a few of these radial gradients to cover up and sort of disguise those harsh lines that I see on the face, where our two sides of our photo are meeting exactly the same. And I'm just doing it in a few places along the middle, sort of blend those edges away, as you can see. So it's still a very strange symmetry that we're left with, in that it's exactly the same on both sides, but it's somewhat convincing in that we don't have that middle line. We have a kind of a middle lighting line, which we'll play with later. Okay, so the final step for this is we're going to merge these two layers together. So I'm going to select one and then hold the Command key to select the other and go up to my little sandwich for more options and choose Merge Layers. So now we have one face layer that we can add an effect to.